on the road to recovery in Castle Rock, Colorado. Live from Millville, New Jersey, I'm on the road to recovery. We're on the road to recovery in Morgantown, West Virginia at Mountaineer Field. And live in Scranton, Pennsylvania, I'm on the road to recovery. Here I am on the road to recovery from Berlin, Maryland. Hey, from Caseville, Michigan, I'm on the road to recovery. I'm on the road to recovery at Ann Arbor, University of Michigan. Here we are on the road to recovery in Naperville, Illinois, a little suburb of Chicago, and what a story. What a story and what a kid. A young guy I met a while back, a mutual friend of me and the dope man, Tim Ryan, and I was able to sit down with Darek and kind of share his story. And often throughout the journey, I find people were taken to the edge, right to the edge, losing it all, and God snatched him back. You know, you can't find the light of day in the dead of night. Darek couldn't find that salvation, that recovery in the grips of his addiction, but he's back in recovery, sharing his recovery, his strength with other people. This is Darek's story.
So, where it all kind of began for me, man, started off at a real young age. You know, I started using drugs and alcohol when I was 12 years old. Kind of background story on my family life. So my father left when I was about 2 years old, so it kind of left me and my mother for quite a long time. She was a foreigner, came over from Poland, didn't speak a lick of English when she first came over, and she had me, kind of spoke broken English, so it was kind of a struggle for us for a long time. But she had to work 3 different jobs in order to support us, so in turn I kind of started looking up to the older kids kind of in the neighborhood for some guidance and direction, because my father was never around. So in turn I followed their footsteps. I did drugs and alcohol along with them. You know, I wanted to fit in, I wanted to feel part of, because I never really felt part of for the good amount of my life. So like I said, I started smoking weed and drinking alcohol when I was 12 years old, kind of progressed to 14. Taking Xanax, doing cocaine, which progressed to pain pills when I was 16 due to a sports injury. And then ultimately I found out that heroin was a lot cheaper than pain pills. So I started running around doing that. And that kind of took me down, you know, a 5 to 6 year path to hell. From 17 to 18, I was kicked out of my mother's house because she wanted nothing to do with me anymore. So I kind of, I had to learn to adapt and accommodate to my surroundings. As every addict knows, we're good at that. I've been to treatment 16 times. I've died 2 to 3. And ultimately, it led me up to February 10th of 2016 to where I kind of sat on the edge of Lake Michigan. And I had 2 choices. It was either I killed myself or I went to treatment and I got better. So me being the drug addict that I am, I went to the west side of Chicago and I bought a gun. So I kind of sat there and, I looked at this gun and I was like, well, it's about that time. So I put the gun in my mouth and I pulled the trigger and the gun didn't go off. So that was my first kind of sight at a spiritual experience, so to speak. Where recovery has brought me today is beyond my wildest dreams, man. I work for a treatment center. I'm getting a townhouse with my girlfriend, who I love dearly. And life, it leaves me speechless, to be honest with you. I would have never expected in a million years my life would be at where it's at today. And that's all through the program and through the grace of God. And, thankfully I made it out alive, and now my only purpose here is just to help out the next sick and suffering person. And that's about it. Because I really connect with the low bottom drunks and drug addicts, right? Because that's what I can relate to. And, I get down to the level and I explain to them, I've sat where they sit and I felt how they feel. I've been there, I've done that, and there is a way to get better. You just have to listen to other people before you start listening to yourself, because yourself is what gets you high. When I first came around, I didn't think I could get clean too, and then I tried to kill myself, and I finally gave up. I gave up the fight and I stopped fighting and I started taking suggestions, and ultimately my life got better. If I can go from being a homeless drug addict to a potential townhome owner, anything's possible. What do I tell families who say they can't force their children? Sometimes all you can do is hope and pray for the best, but other times, you know, there's bringing people in like me, like Tim, like Brandon Novak, like all these people who have been there, who have done that, and, you know, really getting to the root of the problem with the person still sick and suffering, right? Because as we all know, like, it's not, the drugs and the alcohol aren't our problem. Our problem is the internal condition, and once we can relate to somebody else with that fact, that's it. Something clicks in their head and they're like, okay, I'm ready to go. Let's go get help.
Hey, Darek, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for spending time with On the Road to Recovery, Naperville, Illinois. I'm traveling across the country to tell your story. Please reach out to me. If you know someone in recovery that I can share their story and we can tell their story in these videos, please reach out, share their name with us, share us with them, share these videos with other people. On the Road to Recovery from Naperville, Illinois, I'm Michael DeLeon, and we'll see you on the next episode on the Road to Recovery.